Hello everybody, coming at you on Sunday, January 7th, here out of Singapore. Today's background music is Popsicle Whispers, no copyright background music. Hopefully it's not too loud, I don't think it is. So today I'm just going to talk about a couple of the projects I'm in, and so the first thing I often do when I sit down at the computer is just take a look at, how's crypto doing overall. And going to CoinGecko and sorting by the market cap, Bitcoin is up almost 4% for the week. Ethereum is down. BNB is down. Solana has been way up, and it's down 9%. And then we get more red and more red. Cardano, Avalanche, everything is going. Oh, there we go. Interesting. Lost the video for a second. So there's a lot of red here on Sunday, but in the big picture, we're way up actually. Okay, so the first project I'm in is on Pulse Chain, and this one is called Pulse Strip. I was actually in this one for the pre-sale. The pre-sale, you could buy X drip for $2 each, and you could buy up to 1,000. Well, I didn't have $2,000 of Pulse, available to buy. I just didn't happen to have it that day, and I ended up getting about $700 worth, so about 350 Pulse strip. Well, it was really interesting, and I'll tell you the story about it. So after the pre-sale, the Pulse strip token went up to about 15, 18. Then it went up a little higher on day 2 and day 3. In fact, if we look at the chart, wow, I think I gotta fix my screensaver or something like that. Okay, so it came out in August, and just within a couple days, it went up to like somewhere around 50, right? Went up like a 25x, and this is one of those 1% daily DApps. You got your token, and then you deposit it into a faucet, as they call it. Kind of like it's modeled after drip, for those of you who know drip on BSC. So once you've got your token in the faucet, it's locked in there, right? You can only get it back out by claiming a certain amount per day, which is up to 1%. Now, the tokenomics on this one is pretty interesting. It's not a flat 1%, but every time you claim, you get knocked back to 0.5%. And then every 24 hours, assuming you compound every 24 hours, it will go up from 0.5 to 0.6, 2.7, etc. If this thing flashes one more time, I'm probably just going to have to restart. So hopefully it doesn't do it anymore. I think it might actually be the driver. It might be the video driver, in fact. Okay, so I was in this one. It's pretty good. I got in at $2. They did some changes during the protocol, went up to almost $100 at one point, so I was at 50x, and I thought this one was going to be pretty amazing. And it's turning out okay for me, but I'm not making millions of dollars off this one. Probably a couple $100 a month, honestly. All right, moving over into SparkSwap. So SparkSwap is cool. SparkSwap is it's a DEX, and it's farms. And then it's kind of a locked-in, what they call a sparkler for the main token, which is Spark. So the token price, right? I got in about day 10 or so, and the price, like the daily APR that they were giving out for Spark was something like, 3,000% APR. So you were getting 10, 12% a day, and that was fantastic. But I didn't get in until day 10, and the inflation had gone down quite a bit, right? So Spark, though, I think this is a pretty solid moneymaker. I've got a couple $1,000s in this one. If we look at the actual sparkler itself, where you can lock up your Spark for anywhere from 1 day to 3,650 days, that is a 10-year lockup. That's a long time. So I've got about $1,200 in this one. I've just claimed recently, so there's not too much in here. But between the farms and the sparkler, I'm probably getting about 10 to $15 a day, right? And I'm pretty much compounding on this one. I've already pulled out a lot of profits and moved them into another protocol, which is TitanSwap. We'll talk about in a minute. So that was the Sparkler on SparkSwap. And then here on the farms, I got two farms. I've got a Spark Pulse LP, and then I got a Spark SDI LP also. So getting about 170% APR on this farm and 197 on this farm. So altogether, you know, like I said, I don't know, $12, maybe tops of 15 a day, because the Sparkler is, you get paid on this one based on fees from the DEX and from the bridge. All right, so on, let's see what we got here. Yeah, so Pulse Strip, I meant to show you the Twitter also. Anyways, I'll drop these links in the description. Pulse Strip, build on Pulse. I used to be very, very active in that Telegram group. I still stop in because those guys they're great, honestly. When it comes to SparkSwap, so they are, like I said, also on Pulse Strip, Pulse Chain, and they have a pretty active Telegram also. And you can go in there, you can ask your questions, you can participate, and that type of thing. All right, over to what I would say is probably the biggest win of 2023. Feel like I got kind of lucky on this one. Number one, lucky to actually find it, but I didn't get it on day one, right? I got it on about day 33. So TitanX is, if you're familiar with XEN, which probably a lot of people are, this is a mining fair launch protocol, right? There's no pre-mining. You don't buy from a founder or buy from a Genesis wallet. You actually mine it yourself. So the mining, you've got just a couple variables here. Well, you can do batches also. Let's just look at the whole thing. So the maximum miner power is, you can think of this one as actual virtual machines maybe, right? Then and this could be from 1 to 100. Can go up and down. The miner length, this is on days. So you can have as few as 1 day, which would be a terrible idea, and as much as 280 days, which is probably a better idea, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Then the number of miners, I usually do one at a time. I have done a 2 or 3 at a time, only like once. But I mostly do single miners, and then I put them in a ladder, because I have about 50 or so right now. So let's just look at it really quickly, right? I do actually have full videos on TitanX, but just as a quick overview, you're basically paying your future self. So if we just go back here to one miner, so we are on 100 power miner at 280 days. That will give us 1.3 billion tokens. This is estimated, estimated TitanX at the end of those 280 days. It costs 0.21 Ethereum to mine for this 100 miners, or 100 power. And the amount of Ethereum goes up a little bit every day. I think it's like 0.0002. So this goes up. This was like 0.2 at the beginning, and now we're at day 72, so we're up at 0.2117. Then the estimated market value of the miners, if you follow the whole way through the 280 days, you'll have about 1.3 billion tokens. At today's market cap, at today's price of TitanX, that'd be about 2,700, and a respectable 471% ROI, return on investment. So the price, wow, this has been a lot of discussion about the price in the Telegram, right? Because the price is all over the place, right? The price, we started here on October 28th. Man, I wish I'd have been on the 28th. That was day one, October 28th of last year. I got in on day 33, which is still decent, right? I mean, you're certainly not too late. You're definitely not even too late now on day 70. Are we on day 72? Yeah. So, the price, right? We are down 20% over the last 24 hours. However, I'm not going to talk too much about the price. Who cares? Now, I am connected to the founder of TitanX. He is really active on Twitter, and he started following me about two weeks ago or so. So that's pretty good. I always like to kind of catch the eye of the founders. I'll try to figure out what they're doing. If I'm really into the project, I generally like to really connect with the founder, even if they don't follow me back, really understand what they're doing, what their team is doing, what their ethos is, and that type of thing. All right, so the miners, right? I started on, if we look at the start days here, you can sort by the number of miners you got. So the start day, I've still got two miners that I started on my first day, which was December 3rd. Now, the earlier the better. In fact, there's a phrase that Jake uses in TitanX: today is always better than tomorrow. And what that means is, the earlier you get in, the easier it is to mine the TitanX. The more TitanX you're going to have based on the difficulty and your early adoption bonus, because the early adoption amplifier, should I say, this goes down every single day, every contract day. So the amount of Ethereum goes up every day, and the amount of early adoption amplifier goes down every day. The burn bonus has not been implemented yet. That is coming soon, from what I understand. All right, I got a little countdown here. Next difficulty increase. This is a countdown every 24 hours. All right, not going to go into this in depth. What I'm going to say is that I have 56 miners. This is definitely my heaviest project. I am really into this one, not just because of hype, because of TitanX itself, but because of the way that the ecosystem is being built out. So if an individual creates a project, right, or a team creates a project, first of all, the key is to burn TitanX. So just to pop into what that really means. So the TitanX distribution, this is a really good distribution chart, and it's super, super powerful. Forget the price. I feel like this is extraordinarily good tokenomics. So there's only 8% liquid TitanX out there, meaning not staked, not burned, not in the core team wallet, and not in, actually, would this one be LPs, liquidity farms? I think not. I don't think liquidity farms are included in this either. So there's only 8%. Let's just call it 8% is in the MetaMask or the Rabby wallets, right, by individuals. And you got 31% staked. You got 60% buy and burned, which is interesting because 62% is buy and burned out of the miners. Whenever a miner is created, 62% goes to buy and burn. So there's a little bit less of the actual what's showing up. And then 28% goes into staking payouts. And we'll talk about that one in a minute too. But just stay on the stats for just one more minute. So the total liquid supply is just 1.4 trillion, like 3 million. There is lots staked, right? Almost 11 million. These penalties, this means people who didn't pay attention to their stakes, didn't claim their miners on time. So you get a 7-day grace period, but still after day 8, then you get a 1% penalty. And then day 9, you get a 2% penalty. And you can check the white paper for how that all works. So at the end of the penalty period, you lost 99% of what you had in there. Definitely don't be late. It's okay to wait a couple days, but certainly don't go past 7, 8, 9, 10 days. All right, moving down into, let's look at staking for a minute. So I just have a couple little stakes. If we look at my stakes, I have just got 3 little stakes over here. I am not trying to make a mint off stakes, or I'm not trying to make a lot off of them. I just wanted to have a little bit of staking to see how this whole thing worked. And for new protocols that come out, they are going to have the potential to burn your stakes for new tokens. So I want to have a little bit in there, just actually rolling around. Now the payouts is interesting, right? I have staked approximately $700 worth of TitanX, and I've gotten back probably about 500 already, almost 600. So the way that the payout cycles work is first you've got an 8-day payout. So the contract started on October 28th. 8 days later, this first payout cycle hit. And then on day 16, another one happened. And on day 24, another one happened. And all the way up to day 56, when you not only had an 8-day payout cycle, but you had a 28-day payout cycle. That was a really good one. I had somewhere around, I started on day 33, so I've had several of these 8 days. And they're not, and actually today was a payout, right? 72 divided by 8 is a payout. So this was about, it was $13. I remember actually $33 is how much it was. And I have not claimed it because I'm going to wait until this next 28 day pops in there. So 28 days is coming up on day 84. That's $111, pretty decent. Now there's more. There's also a 90-day payout cycle. By the way, these repeat, right? 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 28, 56, 84. Not going to guess the next one, but every 28 days, this one keeps rolling, right? And the first 90 days coming up in 18 more days. So, got 241 in there. I don't expect that to be 241 when we get there because of something called dilution. So as more people stake, then I have less percentage of shares, basically. So this will probably go down to half, maybe 120, 180. I'll be happy if I get 180 out of this, and I'll be expecting to get probably 120. Then we got a lot further out, 369 days, a year and a few days. That's a big one, like 241, that's fairly big. 888. Now this one is very far away. It's way over 2 years away, and there's $100 in there for that one. Okay, so that's the rolling payout cycles. I like this one because it reminds me so much of XEN in some ways, but it also is paying out, right? Because of the way that you have to pay Ethereum, not only just for the gas, like XEN, which I'll talk about in a minute, but there's actually more economic energy built into this one. So people are making more money. How long is it going to last? Nobody knows. And how long is, it depends on how many people continue to participate. That's the truth. All right. We will move over into what started all of it. I mean, for me, now this is not the main XEN site, because the Zen.network site, I mean, I don't really use that anymore. I haven't minted new XEN for a while. I have claimed and sold all of my XEN NFTs. Actually, I might have some couple on Pulse Chain, possibly. So, I was day one Zenian. Day one Zenian. My first C rank was 556, and it was fantastic. I learned so much about this one. I got connected, with Jack early on, and one of the other team members, Zenzu. It's just fantastic. I mean, learning a lot from what they wanted to do. They did not create XEN to earn money for the community, right? I mean, this is not a Bitcoin, this is not a Dogecoin or a Bonk or something like that. You're not going to get into XEN and start making tens of thousands of dollars or $1 million. It's just not going to happen. It's fair launch. You mint the XEN only using gas. It's on 14 chains now. And the idea of XEN was mass adoption, right? You can make money in XEN, and I did make money in XEN. That was not the idea. So I have really claimed most of my XEN, actually. As I mentioned, I had gotten in October 2022. At a high point, I had 900 addresses. That was just, actually we had 600 addresses approximately on MetaMask, individual wallets, because that's how you had to mint them. Then when you had XEN NFTs, I had about 20 XEN NFTs at one point. I sold quite a few of them, most in profit, some not. And then I had a few limited XEN NFTs where you had to burn 250 million to get. So I have proof of burn in one of my wallets. Let's move down though, because my wealth ranking used to be number 300 in the world for how much XEN I had listed in this XEN Turbo site. And the total addresses, I don't know, this used to be 900,000, something like that. I used to have about 22 billion in estimated XEN to collect. And this number here, well, this was all over the place. At a high, it was $170,000. That was right after DBZen launched. I believe it was April of, I think it was April this year. When was this? Yeah, right around here. I would say April 19th or so. Zen had a huge run up, right? I mean, over here, we are at, I don't know how many zeros that is, too small to read. But we went up something like about 12x, right? From this point in March all the way to April. Man, I thought, you know, I went from like 18,000 over here, 16 or 18,000 of total value, up to like 170,000 in April. And I thought, well, this is it. This is amazing. End of year, I'm gonna have $1 million in here. You know, we went up 12x. We could go up another 12x. Well, that didn't happen for many reasons. All right, so that's pretty much it. Those are the main projects I'm in. I'm in a couple other ones. However, these are the main ones. These are the ones I check every day, that I'm most active with the telegrams. So none of what I'm talking about here was financial advice. You know, I'm not a financial advisor. I am just a guy on the internet playing around with crypto, sharing my journey in DeFi. Have a great day.